Long ago, in a palace by the Red River, there lived a great mandarin and his daughter, Minwoo.
Like other young ladies of her position, Minwong was kept indoors, away from the eyes admiring men. She spent most of her time in her room at the top of a tower.
There she would sit on a bench by a moon-shaped window, reading or embroidering, chatting with her man, and gazing out often at the garden and the river.
One day, as she sat there, a song floated to her from the distance. In a voice deep and sweet, she looked out and saw a fishing boat coming up the river. She asked her man,
Do you hear it? How beautiful he sings!
She listened again as the voice drew nearer.
My love is like a blossom in the breeze. My love is like a moonbeam on the waves.
He must be young and handsome. Perhaps he knows I'm here and sing just for me.
The man's eyes lit up.
My lady, perhaps he is a Mandarin man in disguise, the man you are destined to marry.
Minwoo felt a flush on her face and a stirring in her heart.
She tried to make out the man's features, but he was too far off to see clearly.
The boat and the song glided slowly up the river and away.
Yes, perhaps he is.
All day long, Minwoo waited by the window, hoping to hear the singer again.
But the voice did not return.
Why doesn't he come?
As the days passed, Minwoo grew pale and weak. At last, she went to her bed and stayed there.
The mandarin came to her.
Daughters, what's wrong?
It's nothing, father.
The mandarin sent for the doctor, but after seeing Minwong, the doctor told him,
I can find no illness, and without an illness, I can find offer no cure.
The weeks passed, and Minwoo grew no better.
Then, one day, her maid came before the mandarin.
My lord, I know what ails your daughter. Mingo is sick for love. To cure her, you must find a handsome young man who sings this word. My love is like a blossom in the breeze. My love is like a moonbeam on the wave.
It will be done.
and he sent out a messenger at once.
Days later, the messenger returned.
Lord, in no great house of this province does any young man know the song. But I found in a nearby village a man who sings it, a fisherman named Chongqi. I have brought him to the palace.
A fisherman? Let me see him.
The messenger brought him in.
For a moment, the mandarin was too astounded to speak. The man was neither young nor handsome. His clothes were ragged and his tank of fish.
Certainly not match for my daughter, thought the mandarin. Somehow, she must not realize.
He gave his order to the messenger.
Bring the fisherman to my daughter's door and have him sing the song.
Soon, Tronchi stood anxiously outside the young lady's room. He could not understand why they brought him here.
What could they want? He's just a fisherman, wishing only to make an honest living.
At the messenger's signal, he nervously started to sing.
My love is like a blossom in the breeze. My love is like a moonbeam on the waves.
In the room beyond the door, Minung's eyes flew open.
He's here! How can that be? Oh, quickly, help me dress!
Minong tried to calm her wildly beating heart. She forced herself to stand shyly, casting her eyes down in the manner proper to a modest young lady.
As the door pulled open, Tronchi shrank back, not knowing what to expect.
Then, all at once, he found himself gazing on the greatest beauty he ever known.
He felt his heart leap, and in that moment, he felt deeply, hopelessly, desperately in love.
Minwoo could not wait a moment longer.
She lifted her eyes to look upon her beloved.
And in that moment, her eyes grew wide, and she burst out laughing.
A mandarin son? Her destined love?
Shaking with mirth at her folly, she turned her head away and whispered.
Close the door.
Door shut in Tronchi's face. He stood there frozen, the young lady's laughter ringing in his ears. He felt his heart grow cold and hard.
Chonchi was sent home, but he could not go on as before, hardly eating or sleeping. He grew pale and ill. He no longer cared if he lived or died.
And so he died.
The villagers found him on the sleeping mat in his hut. On his chest sat a large crystal.
What is it?
Is his heart the love of the mandarin's daughter only sobbed deeply? It turned hard to stop the pen.
What do we do with it? It's very lovely, like one of his songs.
We should put it in his boat and let it float down to the sea. At sundown, they set the crystal in the fisherman's boat.
Then they pushed the boat from its mooring and watched in sorrow as it drifted down the river and out of sight.
But the boat did not drift to the sea.
It came to show the Mandarin's palace.
And so it was that the Mandarin found it at the sunrise as he strolled along the bank.
What have we here?
The Mandarin reached in to pick up the crystal. He turned it over in his hand, examining and admiring it.
What a splendid gift the river has brought.
A few days later, when no one had come in, the Mandarin sent it to the tunnel to make it into a teacup.
He brought the cup one evening to Minong's room.
A gift for my lovely daughter.
Oh, Father, it's beautiful. I can hardly wait to drink from it.
And the Mandarin left, she told her man.
It's late, so you can go to bed. But first, make me some tea so I can drink from my cup.
Meanwhile, lifted the cup to her lips.
Oh,
On the surface of the tea was the face of Trongchi, gazing at her with eyes with love.
And now, his sweet song filled the room, familiar but a little changed.
Minong is like a blossom in the breeze. Minong is like a moonbeam on the waves.
And Minong remembered those eyes she had seen so briefly through open door, and she remembered her laugh.
what have I done? I was so cruel. I didn't mean to hurt you. I didn't know. I'm sorry, so very sorry.
Her eyes filled with tears. A single tear dropped into the cup.
It was enough. The crystal melted away, releasing the spirit of Trongchi.
Then Minong heard the song one last time, floating off the river.
Minong is like a blossom in the breeze. Minong is like a moonbeam on the waves.
Goodbye. Goodbye.